Okay, Jay Croucher here with Grant Liffmann to talk NBA free agency, take a little break from World Cup fever and talk NBA offseason. And Grant, keen to hear about your top five free agent X factors. Who have you got?
Yeah, when it comes to X factors, let's take a step away from the stars. For instance, this free agency period and trade season has been bonkers, right? We've seen so many teams make big moves, but I want to look at the guys that kind of help a team win on the margins a little bit. And first and foremost, I'm looking at Dean Wade, and you and I talked about him before when I was listing him as a perfect free agent fit for different contenders in the past. But Dean Wade is the type of guy that you put on a team and you're just better. There are certain players that are glue guys and guys that make you win, whether it be analytically or just watching the eye test. Dean Wade is a defensive force and is a guy who just does everything and makes you better. And you're not going to look at his stats and say this is the sexiest thing. He's going to average 6 points. He's only going to shoot 37% from three. But all these things add up into a guy that becomes an X factor for your team. When you look at the Sixers and the deal they got him on, they have Maxey, Edgecombe, Brown, Embiid. They even brought in Simon. Scoring is not a problem for them. So you bring in someone like this on a deal that he got about $9 million a year. I thought he was going to make more than that. Dean Wade is the perfect fit for a team like that, and I love him as an X factor on that team. Another guy, number two, Tim Hardaway Jr. Tim Hardaway Jr. was a finalist for Sixth Man of the Year, and to be able to get a guy like that for a 1-year deal, first of all, but for only $6.5 million, it is so impressive that Miami got him. When you have Giannis, when you have Bam, you know what you're going to get from those guys. There's a consistency to them. A lot of times Andrew Wiggins as well. But sometimes you need those variance guys, those high variance guys that can win you some games, scare some defenses. And that's what Tim Hardaway Jr. does. At the end of the season, his 3-point percentage is never as high as you think it will be because he just chucks sometimes. But you know what? There actually is value to chucking. Sometimes the defense just needs to spread out and be aware of you at all times. And that will absolutely help players like Giannis and Bam succeed. Fantastic deal getting him on a 1-year, $6.5 million deal. Now, third, Jose Alvarado returning to the Knicks on a 3-year, practically $15 million deal. He could have gone paid more elsewhere. He could have. This guy is the perfect backup guard because he does everything you want. You feel him when he comes back into a game. When he's out there, the other team knows Jose Alvarado is out there. Is he a perfect piece in the locker room, all that? Yes, he just brings energy, excitement. And by the way, he's actually a better shooter than people think he is. He's gotten better and better over the years. So Jose Alvarado at 3 for 15, I think any other team would have been just so ecstatic to get him on that deal. But he got the hometown discount for the Knicks, the champs. I'm excited for him, but I'm also excited for Knicks because that's the perfect guy to add and bring some fire to that team as an X factor. Luke Kennard is my fourth guy. 2 for 13 for Luke Kennard going to Phoenix. Somehow, this guy is a little undervalued all the time. And I think the biggest issue with Luke Kennard is the fact that he doesn't take as many threes as he should. He usually waits till he's wide open. But guess what? He's also, when wide open, the best three-point shooter in the league. He is a spot-up guy. That is what he does. If you find him open, Luke Kennard will hit the three. He's like a 45 to 50% every single year. Phoenix needs shooting. They got rid of Grayson Allen. They got rid of Royce O'Neal. And they just need spacing. There's too much variance when it comes to a Jalen Green. There's a lot of variance even when it comes to three-point shooting from Devin Booker. What do? You bring in a guy that's consistent. And Luke Kennard has been anything but just the most consistent probably guy in the league for many years. You know exactly what you're going to get from him. And I think at that price point, after what we just saw with the Lakers and how we did in the playoffs, I really like that for them. And finally, here's the one that's a little under the radar, Jay. Kobe Sanders with the Clippers. 4 years for $11 million. It really is just one of those deals. They converted a two-way guy, have a lot of team control over a guaranteed deal. He's 24 years old, but the guy's about 6'7", 6'8", a combo guard. He shot 41% from three last year. He played nearly 20 minutes per game for that team as a two-way player for the Clippers. And that was alongside Kawhi Leonard and these guys. And he held his own. I got to witness multiple games with him on national TV with NBC that he's sitting there hitting three after three and lining up Steph Curry and the Warriors. Kobe Sanders, to me, is one of those guys that all of a sudden people are like, wait, why didn't my team kind of just go for him if we could have got him at that? I think he's a great signing. He's an X factor for the Clippers. I'm not saying the Clippers are going to be a great team this year, but I will say Kobe Sanders will make his presence felt. And Jay, I'm going to stop talking here for a second. I'll let you dig in, but those are my 5.
Yeah, I like it. The one who stands out the most to me is Jose Alvarado. Like, to me, that is a stunning deal that they were able to get him for that amount of money. And I get it because they just won the title. It's a hometown thing as well. And it's the best possible situation for him. But Jose Alvarado is a guy who just literally closed Game 4 of the NBA Finals and helped turn basically the destiny of the season with how he came in that Game 4. And also, this gets forgotten because of the madness of the OG tip and everything that happened in that game. But after OG Anunoby blocked De'Aaron Fox with 12 seconds left and the ball spilled, the ball came to Jose Alvarado and Mike Brown just waved him forward, being like, yeah, we don't need a timeout. All you, Jose, all you with Game 4 of the finals. You almost had a backcourt violation there. But I think that his ability, to your point, the fact that he is able to, be this kind of pesky Grand Theft Alvarado guard, but also has to get guarded at 3 and makes just enough of those to, still improve your spacing. I think that, yeah, he's a very valuable player. If he'd gotten double what he got on the open market, I don't think anyone really would have been surprised. I'm going to throw a couple names at you, Grant, who kind of fit the X Factor mold, and I was surprised that they didn't have a bit more of a market. The first guy is Marcus Smart, who got 2 years, $13 million from the Rockets. And Smart, I think a lot of people view him as like not quite in the Mike Conley kind of phase of his career, but kind of closer to that than he actually is. I thought Marcus Smart was hugely valuable for the Lakers. He was, he's still an excellent, even if not a defensive player of the year type of defender anymore. He is still an excellent perimeter defender who can guard multiple positions. And the Lakers, with him on the floor, had a plus 8 net rating. And when he was off the floor, they were neutral. So basically the difference between the Spurs and the Blazers. There's noise in those numbers, but still Marcus Smart, hugely valuable. I think he'll be very useful on a Rockets team that I think kind of lost its head a little bit at times and can use kind of his veteran presence and the ability still to play. And then the other guy who is maybe most fascinating to me, and I'm interested in your opinion here on why he didn't get paid more. Colin Gillespie got 4 years, $48 million. In a world where Shaedon Sharpe got 4 years, 90. I think Colin Gillespie is just better than Shaedon Sharpe. And I think that the league might have missed on this one, where Gillespie, obviously an amazing three-point shooter, great passer, just an excellent steward of an offense, fits in well, competes on defense. Were you surprised that there wasn't more of that basically he didn't get more than 4 years, 48?
Well, first of all, for him, he extended before he even went to the free agent market. Yeah. And a lot of that is just the home team discount he gave that team. He went for the guaranteed money. And you know what? I think he would have gotten more money on the open market. I kind of tagged him as more of a mid-level exception type guy, 15, 16 a year. And I'm a huge fan of Gillespie. Another guy that I got to watch multiple games courtside for NBC, and his leadership, his fire, the way he carries himself out there, make it kind of part of why the identity of the Phoenix Suns is what it is. And it's Gillespie. It's him, Jordan Goodwin, those guys who are just fighting and scrapping it for every play. And he's become such a good shooter, especially off the dribble. So I completely agree with you. I love that signing for Phoenix. And if I was another team, I would have gone out of my way to try to do it. But I just don't think any other team had the opportunity. I think that was pretty much locked in stone that they were going to make that move. So really happy for Phoenix there. As for the Marcus Smart move, I'm just so surprised the Lakers didn't bring him back, to be honest with you. That one really shocked me. And for me, I look at him and I say, the Rockets is a good fit. And I think what they realized was at the end of games, Reed Shepherd and their guards were getting exposed defensively. So they're like, what can we do at the end of a game? And really bring in someone like Marcus Smart makes a huge difference. The only thing that concerns me is his offensive game can be so hit or miss that when they go through their lulls in Houston, he could be a huge part of that lull offensively. So that's my only concern there with him. But otherwise, I just think, like you bring in a guy with that presence that at the end of the day, the one thing he will not give up is his fire. And you will see at the end of the game when things are falling apart, if the team's going to whatever, Marcus Smart will come in and you'll do something to kind of spur that action. So no, I really like your picks. There's one more guy that I was going to bring up was DeAnthony Melton. His deal 2 for 11. I think, injuries have limited him in his career, but when he's healthy, DeAnthony Melton is one of the better 2 guards in the league. He can handle, he can create for others. He really is a good shooter, but the problem is, and by the way, defense is his calling card. Yeah. The problem is he's been in roles recently with the Warriors that he's had to do too much, and it's not him. He's had to try to be a scorer and this and that, and it's just like, you know what? If that's going to be his role, then it's not going to be right. But if you got Steph out there and you've got other guys out there, DeAnthony Melton, when healthy, is just such a great piece. So he was another guy that kind of popped into my head when we were talking about this, and he was an X factor for me as well.
Yeah, Melton, he is, just incredible value for the Warriors to get him back at the number they did. I am a little bit worried that I'm not sure anyone on that team can play it back-to-back consistently, just with the age profile of the team. But one thing you mentioned about Reed Shepherd and Marcus Smart helping in terms of Reed Shepherd needing to be protected on defense. Reed Shepherd needs to be protected on defense from Marcus Smart in the playoffs. Marcus Smart was posting him up in that Lakers series, and the Rockets were having to double Marcus Smart, which is not the place that you want to be in. But yeah, I'm sure Marcus will have a positive impact in Houston. Okay, we'll leave it there. Jay Croucher, Grant Liffmann, still plenty to look forward to in the NBA offseason.
Hit subscribe for more news, highlights, and analysis from the NBA on NBC.